Well, that sucked. That was a pretty embarrassing. Jaguars go to 4-3. Let's try to break this one down. All right, welcome back to the Jags Japan post-game show. Megan's back here again. Took a week off. I think we all need to take a week off. I think the Jags need to take a week off, and thankfully they are, as they go into the bye 4-3 after a pretty embarrassing loss to the LA Rams in London in technically prime time. The whole world can see the Jaguars be terrible again, which is always, always fun. But usually they're pretty good in London. They actually have a pretty good record there, but today was just not their day. Rams got out to an early 21-0 lead. The Jags offense was terrible all day, couldn't get really anything going, and defense I thought played okay in the second half.
They stopped them.
They stopped them a lot, gave the offense plenty of chances, but with all the penalties, another terrible missed kick, 4 turnovers on downs, or was it 5? It might have been 4. 4 turnovers on downs. It was just inevitable that the Rams were going to win that game, and they did pretty handily. What do you think of it?
I thought for a long time we were just going to have 0 points on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we scored.
Travis Hunter got his first touchdown.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was proud of him, but he didn't, like you said, didn't seem
Yeah, that was not the Travis Hunter first touchdown we were expecting to see. It was kind of sad, actually. It was like, you got it. It was almost like maybe he didn't think because there was another flag, maybe he thought it was going to be brought back. But he just whatever. He gave the ball to the ref and just didn't even do anything. You thought maybe the first Travis Hunter touchdown was going to be a big dance, a big show and everything, but I was like, nah, let's get out of here. I'm tired. I want to go home. Mm-hmm. Overall, I have a lot of thoughts on this game, which I'll probably go into more maybe later on and throughout this bye week. But thank God the bye week is here. Jaguars need to get healthy. Brian Thomas Jr. got hurt at the end of the game. I hope that's nothing serious. Hope he's okay. But even when he's in there and healthy, he's still dropping balls left and right. And he's still the Jaguars' best receiver for now. Him and a big part of the offense just will not work. The offense just looks really broken right now in every sense of the word. Whether it's penalties that are setting us back. Today I think it was 14 penalties for over 100 yards. Again, it's like almost every week. There's only been one outlier game this whole year that the Jaguars haven't been, killing themselves on penalties, and that's been the Chiefs game, which, the Jaguars will hang their hat on the Chiefs game. Oh my gosh, we beat the Chiefs. That was a great Monday night. But then what do you do after that? How do you respond from an emotional win like that? You go out and lay 2 eggs against 2 good teams, I will say. The Seahawks and the Rams are both very good teams and both Super Bowl caliber teams. And the Jaguars just aren't in that. They're not in that tier. The Jaguars aren't in the tier of the Rams, the Seahawks, the Colts, the Bills. The way the Chiefs are playing, I think the Chiefs are better than them, even though they beat them 2 weeks ago. The Jaguars just aren't playing good football right now. And, could it just be an off week? They'll go into the bye, fix some things up, clean this up. Maybe they will, but it's not looking good. What are your thoughts overall on just the Jaguars after the past 2 weeks?
I did ask you earlier, I was like, what did you expect for them to have before the season started? And you said, I thought they were going to be 3-4. Mm-hmm. So I still am proud of the Jags overall. Mm-hmm. I think the last 2 games were messy, but I think this bye week gives them an opportunity to get better.
Yeah, I did have them losing and going to 4-3 before this game. I just thought that the Rams were just better. Even without Puka Nacua, the Rams are just a machine. And as you saw today, even without their best wide receiver, Devontae Adams steps in, gets 3 touchdowns. Matt Stafford has just a career day. The Rams, the offense, they're just that good. And Puka Nacua just adds more to that offense. So, I thought it would at least look competitive, and that's the concern for me. And the concern is not that they lost, because, like I said, I thought they'd be 3-4 at this time. And with the lighter schedule coming up, maybe a chance to get some more games. Maybe get 8, 9, 10 wins for the year. That was my expectation coming in the year. I had them going 8-9, missing the playoffs. After the 4-1 start, things kind of changed for me. I was thinking like, hey, we have a chance now to go on a run. If we're going 4-1, if we're beating the Chiefs, the Niners, the Colts look pretty good, but I think the Jaguars can handle their schedule, and be pretty good. After the Seahawks game, it kind of exposed a lot on how bad the Jaguars' offensive line could be, how broken the offense still looks. I think all those wins were kind of covering up a lot of like weird things going on, that like penalties and just bad offensive play in general. And now it's kind of catching up to them. Once you're playing the really good teams, that stuff catches up to you, and that's exactly what happened. That's the concern for me, is that they just didn't look competitive in this game. Down 21-0 at half, nothing going on. Defense looks good at the second half, but then offense can't just get anything together. You know, I think it's time, at least for me, to kind of realign my expectations. Not that the Jaguars can't make a run in the playoffs or can't be one of those top tier teams. It's just right now they aren't. And that's pretty clear. You can't really argue and say that the Jaguars are maybe a top, 10 team in the NFL. I think they're like one of those fringe playoff teams, like maybe 8 or 9 wins, maybe get in the playoffs and then get stomped by like the Bills or something. That's kind of like what the Jags are. They're just not at that level, and that's okay. This year is not like, it's a whole new regime, new players, stuff like that. I think we just need to dial back our expectations, be thankful that we have a winning record, because as Jags fans, we never do. So it's like, okay, be thankful, not be complacent, because I know people are going to be like, oh, you're just complacent. Don't you want more? It's like, yeah, I do, but I think you got to have steps to get there. You can't go from 4-13 to Super Bowl team. You got a 4-13. Okay, now let's build a little bit off that, get a new coach in here, turn around the culture a little bit, and then see where it goes from there. So I think the Jaguars are on the right track. Maybe not the Super Bowl team everyone thought after that Chiefs game. It's going to be okay. We'll all live. Anyways, let's get into more of the game here. First quarter, couldn't have started any worse. Jags offense goes 3 and out both times. And then the defense lets really long drives for the Rams to go 14-0 like it was nothing. And then as the game went on, there were multiple times where the offense had the chance to get back in the game. And I counted this. If the Jaguars would have kicked field goals and made them, every single time they were in Rams territory, I think the score at one point would have been 21-15. Think about that. They had 4 turnovers on downs by the third quarter and a missed kick. That's 5 at least field goals. If they would have just said, okay, let's just line up and kick the field goal instead of going for it every single time, and if Cam Little could just be a normal kicker, a decent kicker, and make his kicks. Jaguars have a kicker problem. I'm done with Cam Little. I'm sorry. You made a 70-yarder. That was great. He had a lot of potential, but if you can't make your kicks, you don't deserve to be on an NFL roster. And it's as simple as that. You have one job, and it's to make those kicks. And besides the Chiefs game, he made a good kick in that game, like a 53-yarder. That was nice. But he's missed a kick in almost every single game in that. And you're just leaving points on the board, and it's clear that they don't even trust him to go out there and make a kick, because they just keep going for it. 4th and 7, 4th and 5, 4th and 10. They just put their offense out there. If you would have just taken the points on every one of those drives, it would have been a 1-score game going into the third quarter. Now, obviously, they didn't. They were back down a lot, and then the Rams scored 2 more touchdowns because, your offense gives them enough short fields. That's what's gonna happen. What's your thoughts on Cam Little?
I thought he was going to be a little different. I thought, oh, yeah, he can kick anything.
Yeah.
But he did kick, I think 1 or 2. Or maybe I think it was just 1 more in the last
game,
he got an extra point. We have to have more consistency.
Yeah, and the bye week's coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jaguars at least bring in another kicker or 2 for competition and see what happens. The thing that sucks about kickers, and I've said this a lot on the channel, is that it's all psychological. Obviously Cam Little is a special talent. He can make any kick, and we've seen he can make any kick. His rookie year, I think he maybe missed 1 kick his whole rookie year, and he had never missed an extra point or anything. And then he comes in this year. I don't know if it was riding high after that 70-yarder. I don't know, but he just kind of lost himself. And what sucks is the Jags will probably end up cutting him. He'll go to another team and then become an All-Pro. And that's just how kickers are. Josh Lambo was like that. Nobody wanted him. He was terrible. Jags picked him up, and he was one of the best kickers in the NFL for a 4-year span. And then one year he just decided he couldn't do it, and then they cut him. So that's just what happens with kickers. It sucks because I really thought the Jaguars had one. I really thought the Jaguars had one of the best special teams units in the NFL with Logan Cook, All-Pro, and Cam Little, who I thought was a rising star. It's not looking like that. I'm a little harsh. I think you can come back from this maybe after the bye, but it's just like you're just leaving too many points out on the field, and it's not acceptable. He's young, he's got a lot of talent, but you got to make your kicks. If not, the Jaguars will find someone who can. And at this point, I kind of think they should, because it's just like it's getting a little ridiculous. There's gonna come a point where like these field goals are gonna matter to like win games, basically, where it's gonna come down to the Jaguars are at the opposing team's 40-yard line, and there's 3 seconds left, and you got to make a 55-yard kick to win the game. And at this point, I think they would just go for it on 4th down, or they try Hail Mary. I don't think they would put their kicker out there, because I think they just don't trust him. And it's like, if you don't trust your kicker, why have the roster spot? Get another wide receiver or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's really frustrating for me. There was this one point. It was the second quarter. This is how bad the Jaguars played today. It was down 21, or maybe it was 14-0. I think it was 21-0. And the Jaguars defense stands, and we're about to get the ball back. Parker Washington gets a punt return touchdown, but a really tic-tac penalty. I don't think it should have been called, but whatever. They call those all the time. So, all right, penalty. Wipes away a touchdown off the board. And then Jaguars drive down the field, and then horrible dropped pass by Brian Thomas Jr. on 3rd down. He was going across the middle, like we see that he does not like to do. At first it looked like, oh, maybe he got hit really hard and so the ball came out, but they did the replay. It literally just goes right through his hands. So, and then after that, then Cam Little misses a kick. And it's just like, you can't have a worse stretch than that, in my opinion. Punt return touchdown, called back for a penalty, so it shows how bad we are with penalties, undisciplined, can't catch the ball. I counted at least 5 dropped passes, at least, and there might have been more, depending on how they rule that, but at least 5 drop passes, and 3 of them were like unacceptable. One by BTJ on that 3rd down, one by De'Ami Brown on a 4th down where he alligator armed it. The ball was right here, he could have caught it, but either he wasn't looking quick enough, but he was right there, he had a hand on it, he could have caught it. And then one on a 3rd down, Parker Washington on a dig route where he had so much space, no one around him, and he could have probably went upfield for another 10 yards, and he just dropped that one. So again, dropped passes. I know a lot of people are talking about, oh, what are the Jags going to do at the bye week? Are we going to trade a wide receiver or whatever? I don't know, but we just need someone to catch the ball, someone to step up. And yeah, Jaguars didn't look competitive at all. But Travis Hunter looked pretty good. He had his first finally big game. It's just sad that it had to come in like the worst game yet for the Jaguars. At least last week, the Jags looked competitive and had a shot to win at the end against Seattle. But this time it was like the Rams just couldn't be stopped on offense. And it's becoming a theme where the defense, yeah, maybe the defense lets a lot of points early, but then they like fight back and then they play good. And the defense will keep giving the offense chances to score, but the offense just never comes through. Mm-hmm. The only time the offense has really come through that I can think of is that Monday night game against the Chiefs, where that they had the ball last and they obviously won the game, and that was great and everything. But since then, it's like the defense has been playing a little better, and the offense is getting chances. Like they had in the third quarter, they had I think like 4 chances to go down the field and score touchdowns, and they get nothing on each one of those. This is crazy, and so that's kind of a theme. And it's another game with no turnovers. No Devin Lloyd. I think that really did hurt. I think he's just such a spark plug. When he's on the field, you're like, what's he going to do next? This is another game where the Jaguars don't get any turnovers, and it shows with how lack of energy that they have. It's like, is this a team that they can only win if they get turnovers? Because so far 2 games in, no turnovers and no offensive output. It's really concerning for an offensive head coach. Liam Cohen came in to fix this offense, to get Trevor Lawrence back on the right track. I don't think Trevor really played bad per se. I mean, I don't know. What did you think? What do you think?
I don't think he played that good.
Yeah.
I think he dropped. I guess he just threw a lot of balls away, and
yeah, he had a few bad throws, which he always does. I remember like a few ones he threw a little bit high, but at the end of the day, I thought the offensive line was really shaky. The Rams got another 7 sacks on Trevor. That's twice in a row the offensive line has given up 7 sacks. The offensive line did play a little bit better than they did against the Seahawks, Like Trevor wasn't under duress the whole day, but I will say the Rams defense is really good. They covered up so well in the back end. Emmanuel Forbes, Darius Williams, Quentin Lake, they were locked down on our receivers all day. So there wasn't like a ton of separation for Trevor to actually get the throws in. When he did, he threw him a little high, threw him a little errant, but he had some good throws too, and then they'd get dropped. So it was like everyone had a part to play. Offensive line didn't protect well. Trevor wasn't on his best game, and then the wide receivers couldn't catch the ball.
It's the offense as a whole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The offense as a whole is in a big problem because I wouldn't necessarily put this game on the defense. Like, I thought the defense, they gave up 35 points and 5 touchdowns to Matt Stafford, and they didn't get turnovers, but they gave the offense every chance to win. And this is supposed to be an offensive team. So this is another game where I'm like, all right, offense, what are you going to do?
It doesn't matter if the other team scores. Are we going to come back from that?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And that's why, I wasn't nervous early on when they were down 14-0. It was like, okay, all right, offense, time to respond. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to be an offensive team. They've been talking all week how we want to get back and get the passing game going and stuff like that. All right, time to respond. And then they never did. And I was a little worried about the Jags offense against this defense coming into the game. I thought the key to the game was for them to run the ball. They did not do that. Jaguars had 94 yards rushing. ETN had 44 yards on 8 carries. But I will say, the last 20 of those were all in garbage time. So they had no run game the whole game. It didn't even feel like they tried to run the ball early on. It felt like they were always coming out passing. And I think that's something in the bye week the Jaguars need to do is kind of go back to the drawing board and get back to who they are. In the first few weeks of the season, they were the number 1 rushing team and they were the number 1 team in turnovers. I think that's a really good formula to win is running the ball and having a good defense. So where's the run game? Where's the turnovers? How can they get these wide receivers and the passing game going? How can we scheme that open? Where's the pass rush? Where is it? Did they even have any sacks today? I think maybe 2. Yeah, no sacks today because every time they did get a sack, there'd be a penalty.
A lot of penalties.
A lot of penalties. And at this point, it's just this is just who the Jags are. They're going to get penalties. It's 7 weeks. We're 7 weeks in. It's not like this is it's week 1. Oh, it's week 2. They'll clean it up. No, they're not cleaning it up. They're not cleaning anything up. They're just going to get penalties. They just have to overcome. That's just how it is.
What was the game that we had a bunch of penalties but still ended up winning? It was the Chiefs game, right?
No, the Chiefs, we actually were good on penalties. That was the one game we weren't. The Chiefs actually were the ones on the penalty side. But every game we've been really bad on penalties that we've won, and still, the Panthers, we were terrible on penalties. Texans, who else did we beat? Niners. Those 3 games we were really bad on penalties, but we still found a way to win. Now, our 3 losses, we were really bad at penalties, and we lost. So, penalties are really screwing us up. And it's at some point you are who you are. At some point, it's okay, you're halfway through the season. Can you really fix that stuff?
They do have this bye week, though.
They do have the bye week, yeah. So they can figure out how to clean something up. I don't know how, but also I think it's more also psychologically with the refs because the refs know that the Jaguars are such a highly penalized team. They're going to be looking. They're going to be refs have meetings before games. This is what the Jaguars. They're always doing this. So we got to look for making sure we're on our P's and Q's about this. And so maybe it's not the most obvious penalty in the world, but they still throw the flag because, the Jaguars are one of the most penalized team in the league. Let's just throw them, Whereas the Rams aren't very penalized, and they didn't get their first penalty until halfway through the 3rd quarter. So
that's unfortunate when sometimes we do get penalties, and then they'll come back and say oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
Or they're just there's penalties that should have been thrown and that aren't.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. They that's the worst. I think it was the Bengals game. Yeah, they said, oh yeah, that wasn't pass interference on Travis Hunter at the end, and I was we lost because of that. So thanks, refs.
And to me, I feel you shouldn't be a ref. For example, Cam Little. If you're not going to do your job right, you have one job, and if you're going to do your job wrong, then you shouldn't be on the field. This is a professional game, and
getting paid millions of dollars. The refs get paid a lot too. So it's no, I completely agree. They were really early on. They had some really weird calls, but I don't want to play the ref game. The Jags still need to, be better as a team because they're not going to get those calls unless you're an established team who wins a lot and is very disciplined. So the Jaguars aren't that, so they're not going to get those calls, and that's just how it is. I definitely want to highlight Travis Hunter, though. I think he you could say, oh, it's all garbage time, but hey, he had his first over 100-yard game on offense with a touchdown. That was a nice touchdown catch. That's kind of what we've been looking for this whole year, is like those deep over plays. You even had some great plays on defense. He was covering Devontae Adams, had a good pass breakup. So I definitely want to highlight him. He was something a lot of people were questioning, like, oh, is he worth number 2 pick in the draft? Oh, the Jaguars aren't using him right. I think people finally got what they wanted as far as like using him mostly on offense and then a little bit on defense. I think that kind of worked, honestly. I think I'm good with that going forward. If we put him in on offense, have him play a lot, and then make a few plays on defense. I thought he played pretty well. It was just unfortunate that it came in like the worst loss of the year. Let's see. I think we've talked about everything with this game. Yeah, the thing is, the Jaguars aren't very good right now, and the Rams are a better team. And I thought the Jaguars would make it competitive. I still thought they would lose, but I think it's a little concerning that they lost like that. That's just kind of how it is. It's coming in at the right time, the bye week. Let's go ahead and just get to offensive player of the game. Who do you have, your offensive player of the game?
I guess either Brown or Washington. They
Okay.
both drop balls, but they both make good catches. But
Yeah.
I guess Washington.
Washington had a pretty good game. Let me check his stats, actually. I think 4 for 52, 13 yards a catch. Yeah, he made a few plays. Yeah, he was good. Yeah, he did have 10 targets. That's crazy. He did have a few drops, though, one really big one.
But I think the play of the game was when Brown caught that really, really long.
Yeah, that long ball. Yeah. Brown had 2 catches for 50 yards. Obviously, he had that long 39-yard catch. That was pretty good. I'm glad he came in after it looked like he got hurt on that play. So I'm glad he came back out. And then Brian Thomas Jr., 3 for 31, 7 targets.
I have just so much respect for him. Like, he's been around since we were bad, and he still showed up. I think he's just, having some trouble right now, but I still have a lot of respect for him. I hope he doesn't leave the team.
No, he's not going to leave the team or anything. I think he's just kind of like in a second-year slump. They call it the sophomore slump.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody has a great rookie year, the second year, teams kind of adjust how they play him. He came into this year at being the number 1 receiver, so that means he's getting a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not even that. It's just the drops. Like, if he catches... like I said, he's had at least 1 big drop in almost every game. If he catches any of those, he's having better games every week. So that's just the thing that's concerned. I thought we were done with it the last 2 weeks. I thought he had pretty good games. He was stacking some good receiving games, but this week kind of went back into the tank and just had a rough game. And it's like, you want to be a number 1 wide receiver in this league, you got to be consistent.
Well, same with Washington and Brown. They both made drops.
Yeah.
That doesn't make them any less valuable.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And so I think it needs to get better. But if they're all dropping it, it's like, okay, then what's going on? Is it Trevor throwing it a certain way? Is it we need to be consistent throughout the whole, not just like, oh, they just need to catch the ball. Trevor needs to make sure they're going to the right place.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, that's been a problem ever since Trevor Lawrence has been in the NFL. The Jaguars have led the league in drops. So for the past 5 years, the Jaguars have led the league in drop passes. I think you could say part of it's on Trevor. I think maybe he throws it maybe a little too hard sometimes and maybe not in the perfect spot.
I think it's a whole, though. You can't just blame it on Trevor.
Yeah.
You can't just blame it on them.
At the end of the day, you're professional wide receivers. If the ball, they say if it hits you in the hands, you got to catch the ball if you're a professional wide receiver. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. It's not like there's not a ton you can look to replace. Like, these guys just got to play better. Trevor's got to play better. Offensive line has to play better. Receivers have to catch the ball. It's not like one person's fault, and it's not like any big help's coming. Like, yeah, you can trade for a wide receiver like A.J. Brown or Garrett Wilson and everything, but are we really going to expect someone to come in? Like, we're already complaining about our wide receivers not being able to run the right routes, or like if they know the playbook fully. You think somebody's going to come in and in 2 weeks know the whole playbook and be out there catching passes and stuff? No, it's the guys we have just need to play better. And one thing that's great is Travis Hunter's coming along better. If maybe he can take that kind of number 1 for a while BTJ figures out what's going on, take a little pressure off of him. I think that can be good. Yeah, I think Travis Hunter, because for a while, throughout the game, you even heard me. I was like, nobody's good on offense right now. But I think he showed enough flashes for me to say, like, yeah, I think Travis Hunter definitely deserves you guys' first touchdown. So congratulations to him. I think he's going to be a great player in this league. Just needs some more time to develop, and I think this is a good game for him. On defense, do you have a defensive player of the game?
No, I
Okay,
don't.
I'll go. Foye Luakon. I thought he had a pretty good game overall. I thought so the thing about the defense this week is like nobody really stood out to me. I think they played decent as a whole until the end when the dam broke and it was like, okay, we can't hold on for this long. There's nothing to play for at that point. But I'll say Foye Luakon at least kind of held it down. When the Jaguars needed stops, I saw him, in the holes, like tackling receivers or tackling running backs, covering tight ends pretty well. So I'm going to go Foye Luakon. And
Do you have anyone you would recommend?
it's so hard. I almost want to say Travis Hunter just because he made a play.
Oh.
But there wasn't really much there. Yeah, I can't really say anyone else. We could say Buster Brown. I mean, he did okay, but then he also let up like 3 touchdowns on Devontae Adams. So it's kind of like it's a give and take with the defense, because even Foye Luakon, he made some great plays, but also he dropped an interception. He could have picked up that fumble on the onside kick. There's stuff.
Yeah.
There's stuff that you could say for anything. It was just a bad game for the Jaguars in general, and kind of hard to pick a player of the game. So, but anyways, around the league, obviously we got a lot of games left today. The Colts are playing the Chargers, and the Texans are playing the Seahawks Monday Night Football. I don't think we should be, obviously you always want to keep your eyes on the AFC South, but right now the Jags are where they're at. They're number 2 in the division right now. Even if the Colts lose, they're still 5-2, so they still have a game up on you. So I think, just sit back, relax, enjoy the 4-3, enjoy just having a winning record in the NFL. We don't get to have that a lot. I know it has a bad taste in the mouth though. Losing 2 straight and then going into the bye, so that means we have another 2 weeks until the Jaguars play another game. The good news is that the Jaguars play the Raiders next at LA or at Las Vegas, and they are a bad team. So the Jaguars should win that game. Now, obviously back in the day, I'd be like, hey, we're lucky to win any game. The Jaguars should never be like, we should win this game. It is the NFL, and crazy things happen. But when you look at the schedule coming up, we got done with the hardest part of the schedule. Those first 7 games were a crazy stretch. I mean, we're talking about playoff teams left and right. The Jaguars were able to get out of that with a 4-3 record. Now we got Las Vegas. We got Houston after that. They don't look very good. We should be able to beat them again. And then, Chargers at home, that's a tough game. Arizona, Tennessee, those are all winnable games. So we could get to week 14 against the Indianapolis Colts and be 8-4. And we would take that. We would take that all day. So definitely no time to panic. It sucks that the Jaguars couldn't even be competitive in that game, but a loss is a loss at the end of the day. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. I'm going to have more thoughts on it throughout the week. I'm going to come out with a few more videos during the bye week. No break for me, but the Jaguars do get a break, thankfully. And I think it'll be good. Hey, enjoy some football that's not the Jags, because the last 2 weeks has been pretty rough, not gonna lie. So, Jags fans, do not worry too much. Just trust that Liam Cohen and this Jaguars team is a little different, and they can make some adjustments, because today sucked.
It was pretty boring.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring game. I was pretty excited actually coming in. I really did think, I was like, I think the Jags have a pretty good shot today. No Puka Nacua. I was like, I felt a little different. Last week, I felt like I woke up and I was like, I feel like Jags are going to lose today. This week, I woke up and I was like, I think the Jags are going to do okay. Usually do pretty well in London. And it was like, no, not at all. As soon as the first 2 or 3 touchdowns, I was like, oof, okay, this is looking bad. But anyways, stay tuned for more Jags Japan content. See you again at the preview show. Well, I guess not a preview show, but bye-week show, and then another preview show after that. So thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you later.